Representative Manuel, thank you for being here with me today. Now, you're talking from a location outside of Texas today. You're one of the Democrats who have broken
Mhm,
quorum. It's now been roughly a week. What's going through your mind right now?
mhm. What's going through my mind is I'm excited that what we are wanting to achieve has been achieved, is that we have awoken the nation to understanding that there is something happening that is not right, and it has to do with congressional redistricting.
Now, you mentioned you feel as though you've achieved what you want to achieve. Do you want to stop these maps from
Mhm.
passing altogether? Do you feel as though that's realistic?
Yes. I would love for the maps to not pass, but we have to be realistic. It's a counting game. We don't have enough numbers to stop this unless we have some Republicans on the other side come and join us, and I don't think that'll be very much likely. Our key point was this. Well, a key point for this was to bring this to people, to talk to them about this, to awaken people to understanding what's actually happening here. Because we only had 4 hearings, and of the 4 hearings that we had, only one of them had a map, and it was for 10 hours, and the other 3 that we had were for 5 hours. Now, with all due respect, they did go a little bit over, but even when you add all of the time together, we spent more time talking about what if and if we should redistrict than we actually did even talking about these maps. And so that wasn't enough time. All of this was done in about 7, 8 days, and that's not enough time for Texans to know what's happening.
Let me ask you, you were a member of the Congressional Redistricting Committee. Were there any concerns
Yes.
brought, in favor of these new congressional maps that stood out to you in any way?
The only few people that I did hear that were in favor of it were people who just felt that we should have a Republican majority in Congress. We should have a Republican majority. It had nothing to do with what has to do with what congressional redistricting is for, which is to represent people, to have people choose their representatives, not representatives choose their voters. And that is the most alarming thing about this, especially coming from an area where in 2003 our congressional area was redistricted, and it wasn't because we were a minority area. It was because we just had people who didn't like Democrats, and so they tore up Jefferson County and put us into a county that we really shouldn't have been a part of, when we were actually more, and we have more in common with people in East Texas. And it really devastated our area, and I would not wish that or want that for anybody.
And let me ask you, the opposite of that. What concerns did you hear about this bill from those against that stood out to you?
That it was cutting people's representation, that it was allowing politicians in a room to decide who their voters are, which I'm completely against. And I think anyone who has any understanding truly will say, I don't want elected officials deciding if I can vote for them or not. I should be able to decide who my elected official is. And that's what is happening right now with these maps. Is we are allowing big bureaucrats in DC to decide what actually happens here in Texas, and I'm completely against that. We're the Lone Star State.
Doesn't the state redistrict every 10 years though? So someone can argue, that
Absolutely.
individuals are, deciding who their votes are then, right?
That is why, with my Democratic colleagues, ever since I've been here, even when I was a staffer, a Democrat has always filed a bill for us to create an independent commission so that this wouldn't happen anymore, because we don't agree with this. This is not what we want. And when you're looking at Texas redistricting every 10 years, yes, every 10 years is every 10 years. It's not every mid-decade. It's not whenever you feel that way. It's costing millions of dollars just to implement this change, and so we're taking that money away from taxpayers when we know people need their tax dollars. We're talking about property tax relief. This isn't helping property tax relief. This is actually making it worse, because we're taking these resources to have a committee hearing on something that has nothing to do with what Texans are even remotely asking for or want.